My name is Sola Oyegbade. I am the managing partner of Flex Solutions. Flex Solutions is an HR and business consulting firm that specializes in providing bespoke, flexible, and impactful solutions to businesses. As an individual, I have been in the learning and development space for a while, and I believe that we can't really live without learning. All right, living is learning, and learning is living. The moment you stop learning, you actually start dying. So that makes what we do, all right, very critical to everybody's advancement and progress in life. So I take what I do seriously. It's a passion, and I believe that what I do gives me the opportunity to be able to partner with people in their success journey. All right, and that's, I think it's a unique responsibility. I met PDAMS almost slightly about 2 decades ago. It was a fateful evening. I went for a program at HOTL, that's House on the Rock, at Muson Center way back then. And it was one of those evenings that, there used to be this practice in the house whereby some upcoming pastors or pastors that are outside of Lagos will be called to come to, give like a 10 minutes, message. All right, they call it Timothy's Night. That's what Pastor Paul used to call it, Timothy's Night. And I believe that he used that platform to be able to coach and mentor all the pastors under his tutelage. So one of those evenings was the day I met Pastor Damilola Oluwatoyinbo. He was a very young, promising, chap. And he came on stage, and guess what? He literally blew off the roof. Recently, I reached out to him just to ask him for a particular message he preached during that period. It centers on Ezekiel, and he couldn't remember, but I still remember that message very well. I'm talking of something about 2002. Yeah, so 2002 or 2003, thereabout. And PDAMS preached from Ezekiel 37, I guess, about the dry bones. But he painted the picture of everything that happened in that passage, using the corporate and business analogies within 10 minutes. And it was a very impactful message. Imagine, almost 20 years or 20 years plus, I can still remember that message. Maybe not in full details, but the impression and the impact was created. And since that time, we became, in fact, I walked up to him after the message. And as far back as that time, I was led to sow into his ministry, even as young as I was then. And he was also young because we've both come of age now. And that was how the friendship and the mentoring and, partnership, relationship started. And over the years, sincerely, he has been a very extremely focused, extremely consistent, extremely creative. In fact, everything about PDAMS is extreme. It's not an average guy. It's not an average mind. It's not an average, if it's into something, you will see that touch of extra commitment, extra creativity, extra innovation. He's always going above and beyond when he's engaged. So And it's so interesting that I've actually followed his ministry and his work as a consultant, because he's also a consultant. All right. As a matter of fact, I worked with him on the part on that, part of the consultancy aspect of his business. All right, of his expression, of his person, a little more than as a pastor, because of course I don't attend Kings. All right, but again, I attend Kings from afar. But in terms of what has actually brought us together, is more of projects and works within the corporate world. I recall, there was a particular job that we did together. And before we could give it to him, we contacted a number of consultants. And idea said that one of the big five was actually, one of them. All right. And at the end of the day, when we look at the proposal from Damilola, all right, under Dream Stream, and we looked at his own proposal. His proposal alone was enough, all right, to be accepted, all right, for the job. I don't know whether I've put that across well. No, so this is it. It was a training. Specifically, we requested that we needed a consultant to develop content for us on creativity and innovation for peak performance. I remember that was the topic. And we requested for proposals from, I think, 3 companies. And by the time we saw the proposal from P-Dance, in fact, you don't even need to go through the proposal for you to know that, yes, if you want anybody to take you on creativity and on innovation, the look and feel, forget about the content, the look and feel of the proposal itself did the job. And by the time we now settle down to review the content, by the time you were done reading the proposal, you had already, it felt like we've already gone through the creativity and innovative training. So now I leave the rest to your imagination. He got the job quite all right. And he came he came over to deliver the training. So you can imagine the experience that the participants had. And of course, the kind of impact that the training also had on the organization, because truly is a very pragmatic and highly engaging, highly animated, facilitator, preacher or speaker. He's a man of many parts. So sometimes if you see me calling him pastor, trainer, facilitator, coach, mentor, music producer, music songwriter, and all of that, author. Damilola is a package, and I believe that is really a gift to this generation. He is not not using that term loosely. All right, when you say somebody is a gift, he is really a gift indeed to this generation, to the body of Christ, to the corporate Nigeria, and also to the youth of this generation. Dami is someone that you actually really can keep up with the pace at which he generates or he come up with ideas, content, all right, and insights, wisdom, all right, principles, and concepts that can really help people to either become a better individual, become a better business person, or become a better professional, or become a better Christian, or whatever it is. So he has done a whole lot. I recall that there was a time I actually even enrolled my son for one of his programs. And I think that program was Mindset Reset or something like that. So my son is a young chap, and still in his, in his teens, all right? And but I looked at Dami, and I said that for him to be doing what he's doing currently, he must have started way back. Remember, I told you a while back that I met in 2002. As of 2002, 2003, he was a pastor, an ordained pastor already. So that's like over 20 years ago. Okay, so imagine, and Pete Dams is still very young. All right, so imagine at what age, at what stage did he really start, developing his own mind? Because everything that he does comes from his mind. It's an expression of the quality of his mind. All right, it's an expression of how he has trained his mind. So I got fascinated by that program, and I decided to register my son to attend that program. I can bet my son was the youngest person in that particular program. And the young man, of course, came back. The content that he shared with him, I sat down. The young boy didn't know why daddy is pushing him. He might not even get as much as I eventually got from it. So going through the content, going through the recordings alone was mind-blowing. And what I meant by that is that for someone like me in the kind of space of what I do, I understand the power of the mind. I understand how important it is for you to be able to get a hold on your mind and to control your mind and to be able to optimize the power of the mind. So for me to listen to that content, and I started, utilizing some of this. As a matter of fact, I think he called it, 10 strategic shifts you must make to increase your impact, influence, and income. So it's a very interesting guy. Let me tell you one thing I learned from P. Dance, and I'm sure I'm letting this out here now. The power of three, when you are talking, when you are writing, when you are creating images or something like that, I learned that from P. Dance. All right, there's so many styles that he has, but I picked that most times this guy will always want to, use, give you three consistent message, all right, to create some kind of emphasis. All right, for instance, what I just mentioned, this is what actually made me to remember that I learned this from him. He said 10 strategic shifts you must make to increase, one, your impact, your influence, your income. So most times it's a style of speaking which always place emphasis, all right, on what you really want the audience to get from what you're saying. And I picked that from P. Dance. All right. Most times these days, most of my own write-ups on Instagram or anywhere, I always end it with 3 things. All right. I always say that stay lifted. All right. Stay positive. Stay inspired. And it's just, and with time you realize that it's a style that naturally makes you connect easily with people. All right. By the time I say stay lifted, probably you weren't listening. You heard positive, listening, inspire. I think one of the 3 would resonate with you and will connect with you somewhat. So P. Dams, there's so many things that I've benefited from him. I remember the very first book that he wrote, Just Do It. Just Do It was a very interesting book. If I check my library, probably maybe I would just be missing maybe 2 or 3 of his, books, published books. All right, that was one that was really very, very interesting. Lessons from Football or something about that. That was well researched and very contemporary in the writing style. And in terms of real life lessons to be learned from football, I connected with virtually everything that he documented in that book. So for me, P. Dance is an encounter. Oh yeah, you see, forget about age. Excuse me. Forget about age. There are some people, by the virtue of their assignment, all right, they are just special. So, and there is no how anywhere in the world that he goes, that people come in contact with him, there won't be an impact, there won't be an impression, positive impression, there won't be something, memorable or remarkable about that, interaction. I'm someone that I reflect a lot. And in my reflections, most of the time, is always out of gratitude, out of the need to just appreciate what you have, where you are, what you've got, and all of that. And the way human brain works sometimes, we tend to always focus on what we really don't have, and you focus less on what you have. A while back, going to almost about 20 years or so now, I was having this kind of reflection about my life, what I do, what I've gotten, and all of that. And I found myself, in a particular place in Lagos Island, Makati precisely. And early in the morning, I was in my car, and I looked at this set of guys. They were grown-ups like me. And I was already in my office. Makati was my office then. My office was in Makati at that time. And I looked at these guys, and I said that the only difference between me and these guys is just a sense of direction. I'm not in any way better. I've just been privileged to have been given some opportunities, some, resources to be able to get to where I am. However, for these guys, they must have lacked such opportunities. For instance, if you take all those opportunities away from me too, I might actually just be like them. And if you give any one of them the kind of opportunities that I've had, they might just end up like me. So what that tells me is that I needed to begin to use what I think I've gained or I've, benefited or I've been exposed to in life, all right, and begin to use it to impact other people. So beyond the work that I do, I set up that NGO called Direction Club, based on the fact that I just noticed the gap. So if you're talking about creativity is not only when you're in Nollywood, it's not only when you're an artist. Creativity is being able to identify a gap, all right, and think of, a gap or a problem, and think of a solution, a unique solution, bespoke solution to address that gap. That's what I did with this Direction Club. And all these guys, what I do basically is I always reach out to them, to have a chat with them, give them a sense of direction in life, and generally help them to navigate, life, navigate through their challenges, their troubles. Most of them, we actually refer to them as street urchins, area boys in Lagos parlance, all right, area boys. But that is where I channel my own creativity to help people that are, regarded as destitute, regarded as downtrodden, regarded as, people going through life without any sense of meaning or any sense of value or any sense of dignity, to help bring them from that state to a better state. And honestly, over the years, with the help of people, that are around me, because occasionally I always get people to support me to reach out to these guys. What I do mostly with them is talk empowerment, all right, and also empowerment in terms of financial resources, all right, helping them to pick up one or two skills that is available, all right, to help them begin to make sense out of their lives. So if there's anything today, say that, Sola, if you're going to stop working today and you're not going to lack anything, what will you spend your life to do? I'll spend my life to be ministering to those guys. So that is how, my own creative side and using it to impact people. Because again, the way I'm speaking is not the way you speak to those guys. You have to really get down to their level and be able to connect. And everything that I have gone through in life also come very handy when I start speaking to these guys. Because truly, most times when what you have passed through as a matter of the way life is structured is that are the things that you will need eventually to be able to bring other people also out of what they are passing through. That may just be similar to what you have passed through. Pedants cannot be boxed to a program, sincerely. And I'm not saying that just to, patronize him. But I know that in recent times, he's been spending a lot of time and energy and resources building the genius circle. All right. And I believe that to be a member of that circle would be one of the best decisions whoever, all right, decided to join that circle would ever make. Why? Because you can't get anything less. It will be much more than you ever bargained for. Based on my own experience with pedants and everything that he is involved in. So, if you're really looking for a definition of a genius, pedants actually exemplify that. Don't let me say epitomizes it. All right, but he exemplified it. You can really see this is one person that would, if you are talking about people dying empty, is the kind of person that I believe is pouring all of himself into everything that is God. And many times I admire him and I look at how I wish that I can have this kind of level of commitment. Because the truth is, and I love his message, he's putting it out there that, look, everybody, there's a genius in everyone. So for your genius to come out is not going to be how much of attention are you paying to it, how much dedication, how much commitment, how much investment, how much, are you willing to really, because anything good you can't find anything precious on the surface. Nothing precious can be found on the surface. You have to dig. If it is oil, you have to drill. If it is gold, you have to, excavate the earth. All right, anything, tangible. So therefore, genius circle, in my own definition, is that orb that would enable everyone, no matter how no matter how ungifted you think you are. All right, when you get to that orb, the giftings or the talents, all right, the potentials that you have locked down on the inside of you will be uncovered, will be discovered, and of course you'll be taught on how to now use your discovery to further advance your course, all right, and your trajectory in life. So pedants and the genius circle, I would say to anyone who really, if that's the only investment you make, even for yourself this year, I would advise that you should, make that investment. I attended a transformational program by Damilola Oluwatoyinbo, the King Racer.